Pressure notes. Why do we chase unavailable people? Through the lens of singleism, attraction should never silence discernment. Singleism teaches that chemistry may introduce a connection, yet availability determines whether that connection can grow. A person can be attractive, interesting, familiar, and emotionally significant and still be unavailable for the partnership you desire. Wanting someone does not make them ready, and their inability to choose you does not make you unworthy of being chosen. Hey there, you're listening to Pressure Notes, where pressure becomes your power. I'm CandyJae, not just behind the chair, behind the mic, carrying the message and the movement. And I want to ask a question many of us avoid because the answer may reveal more about us than the person we keep chasing. Like, why do we chase unavailable people? Sometimes we chase unavailable people because uncertainty creates intensity. When someone gives us just enough attention to keep us interested, then pulls away before we feel secure, the inconsistency can make the connection feel deeper than it actually is. One day they're present, the next day they're distant. One moment they are vulnerable, the next moment they remind you that they are not ready. And instead of accepting their unavailability, we begin trying to earn their availability. We become more understanding, more patient, more accommodating. We lower our expectations while increasing our effort. We tell ourselves they are afraid, they are healing, they have been hurt before, they just need time, and maybe all of that is true. The question remains, are they available to build something with you right now? Because potential is not partnership, chemistry is not commitment, and emotional closeness does not always mean emotional availability. Y'all, if I'm being honest, I think unavailable people can become addictive because they allow us to remain hopeful without requiring us to experience the full vulnerability of a healthy romantic connection. And yeah, that may sound backwards. How can chasing someone who cannot fully love us feel safer? Because if they never fully chose us, we never have to fully be seen. We can focus on winning them over instead of asking whether we are truly compatible. We can obsess over their mixed signals instead of confronting our own fears. We can imagine that the connection could become without having to live inside the reality of what it currently is. Sometimes the chase protects us from intimacy. It gives us a mission. It gives us a distraction. It gives us something to prove. And when they finally give us a little attention, it feels like a reward. Not necessarily because the connection is healthy, because the attention was difficult to receive. Maybe you are not chasing the person. Maybe you're chasing validation. Maybe you want the unavailable person to choose you because their choice would make you feel exceptional. You begin thinking, if they change for me, then I must be special. If they leave the other situation, then I must be worth it. If they finally open up to me, then I must have reached a part of them nobody else could reach. And now their availability becomes connected to your self-worth. Their rejection feels like evidence that you were not enough. Their attention feels like proof that you are. That is where the chase becomes dangerous because your value should never depend on your ability to convince someone to recognize it. You should not have to audition for consistency. You should not have to compete for clarity. You should not have to prove you deserve emotional safety. Unavailable people are not always cruel. Sometimes they are honest. They tell us they are not ready. They tell us they cannot offer commitment. They tell us their life is complicated. They tell us they are still attached to someone else. And because they continue talking to us, spending time with us, flirting with us, or sharing emotional intimacy, we focus on their behavior and ignore their words. We interpretate access as possibility. We confuse connection with progression. We hear, I cannot give you what you want, and translate it into not yet. Then we begin waiting for a version of them that may never arrive. There is a difference between someone moving slowly and someone standing still while you continue moving towards them. There is a difference between a person needing patience and a person benefiting from your patience without offering direction. You can have compassion for someone's circumstances without volunteering to become emotionally trapped inside them. You can care for someone and still accept that they are unavailable. You can feel the chemistry and still choose distance. You can love someone and still recognize that love alone cannot create readiness. Y'all, let me keep it real. Some people chase unavailable people because available love feels too calm. When you are used to inconsistency, peace can feel boring. When you are used to proving yourself, mutual effort can feel suspicious. When you are used to waiting for a text, someone calling consistently may feel like they are doing too much. Chaos creates adrenaline. Stability creates safety. And when your nervous system has learned to associate anxiety with attraction, you may mistake emotional confusion for passion. That does not mean you are broken. It means you may need to relearn what healthy love feels like. Healthy love does not leave you constantly decoding. Healthy interest does not require detective work. Healthy availability does not make you question whether you are asking for too much simply because you desire clarity. So, y'all, why do we chase unavailable people? Sometimes it is liberating. Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it is ego. Sometimes it is hope that being chosen by a difficult person will finally prove we are worthy. And sometimes we are simply attached to the dream of who they could become. The answer is not to shame yourself. The answer is to become honest. Ask yourself, am I being loved or am I being kept emotionally engaged? Am I being a connection or am I maintaining a fantasy? Am I waiting for alignment or am I resisting the truth? Because the right person will not require you to abandon yourself just to remain connected to them. You deserve more than chemistry with someone who cannot meet you. You deserve availability. You deserve intention. You deserve a love that does not require chasing because pressure reveals you to who you really are. Sometimes we chase unavailable people because winning their love feels more valuable than receiving love that is freely given. Peace.